Hi, it's Karen here. This is part 2 of our intuitive journal making that we did. The first part was that we were just painting our cover of the journal, which was our envelope. Now, this is what I've done. I'll just do you a quick run through to show you what I've done. I've actually covered this with a layer of varnish, water-based varnish, which gives it a really nice, still flexible, but it gives it a nice finish, and it's water protected, so that's nice. So in here, I've still kept the flap on here, because I'm not sure whether I'm still going to use it. It all depends how big my journal grows. But if I don't want to, I can easily just take that off, and then it would just be an open journal like that. So this is what I've done. I've covered the inside of the journal, and I've stitched in, these are my papers. I've just chosen just ordinary cartridge type paper, multimedia paper, and just done a pamphlet stitch. I've painted already on this end of my journal, because I'm not sure whether I'm going to put paint on it again, or whether I'm going to put a painting on top of it. Not sure, so I've just left that. But yeah, that's what I've done, and I'll show you how to put yours together. So I'll set that one aside. Now, this is the one that I'm going to be putting together with you today. What I've done is, these are the papers that I've chosen. I've again just used some cartridge papers. I've cut them down to the size of the journal that fits in. Any papers that have crept forward, I've just guillotined off. But if you don't mind your papers all jarring out, then that's absolutely fine. Now, this is where we left it last in stage 1. But what I've done is I've got an old book page, and this is an old geographical book that somebody gave me because it was falling apart, and I thought I can use those pages into something. So I've just quickly gessoed over this, and I'm going to use that as my cover for the inside of my journal. So I'm just going to stick that in now. If I can get my glue off. My stopper has absolutely just, it's absolutely rock solid in there. I'll have to get some warm water on there. So I'm just using a clear, just standard glue. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to run a bead of glue all around, paying particular attention to the crease where where your journal folds, and then just give it a nice covering. This glue is quite good. It's I bought this from Amazon. It's not too expensive, because some of the Fabri-Tacs and things that other makers use is great, but very expensive, and this is half the price. So now we've got that done, I'm just going to marry that up Now I'm eyeballing everything, but if you're one of the people who like to make sure that everything is measured, then please you measure yours. But I'm impatient, so I can't wait that long. So just move it to get it into position, and then just give it a good squeeze down. Okay, I'm just going to lightly bend it, just ever so lightly bend it, and just run my thumb across. Don't use a bone folder at this stage, because you'll crack your fold, and there's no going back from that. You can't go back from that. I've got this little bit of paper here, and I think I'm going to just pop that on the envelope fold. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just going to run a bead of glue all the way around and just fill that in. Now, I don't measure everything all around. I just eyeball it on, and then when I've got it into position, make sure that it's got a nice fold, and then with a pair of scissors I just cut. I know there's some of you that would measure it, and by all means, if that's what you prefer to do, then please do that. But I'm never very good at measuring, to be frank. I think I've got it right, and I really haven't. So if you've got a little bit that's creeping over, just take your scissors and just snip that off. Okay, so there we have, nice and quick and easy. Got a little bit of a, just make sure that it's okay. Right, now I've chosen my papers, and I'm just going to eyeball them up into my I've got a little bit, where it didn't dry flat, I've got a little bit of bow in mine, but when I've stitched these in, I'll put it under a book and it'll be absolutely fine. So if you find that you've got the same, don't worry about that, because you can get it back. Now, I'm happy with that. That's what our book's going to look like, our journal's going to look like. So I'm just going to go to the centre. Now, if you want to get some clips to clip it into place, absolutely do that. But I tend to not do that. So take it at the halfway tipping point and just get your bradawl, and you want 3 holes. Now again, you can measure that if you prefer. I don't, because I do everything by eyeball, to be honest. Now the twine that I'm using is it's a very fine cotton waxed thread, stronger than cotton, but it's thinner than jute or string. I like this a lot. I think it's a really nice twine to use. So what we do is I'm threading this is a tapestry needle. So what I'm doing is I'm going from because I want to tie off in the inside, I'm pushing my needle in, and then I'm just going to catch that with my thumb so I don't pull it all the way through. Then I'm going into my, I've done that absolutely awfully. Then I'm going into my hole. I've got it out of, okay, catching it again. Don't pull it so tight that you lose your you lose your thread. And then I'm just going to hold on to my thread and go all the way down to the bottom one. Okay, catch that. It does take a bit of practice if you're doing this for the first time. And then go into your middle hole again. Okay, and catch. It's confusing me a little bit because I've used a book page that's already had holes in it, so that's making me a little bit confusing for me. It doesn't take much to confuse me these days. And so just finding my hole. And there we go, we found her. And then you can pull it a little bit tighter. Now, I'm just going to pass over and just do a knot one way, and then I'm going to just hook up and do a double knot from the other end. Now, I don't do my my stitching in my books, I don't make them too tight. Now, you can leave yours as long or as short as you want, because you might want to put some kind of tassels or beads or something on there, so you can leave yours as long or short as you want. I tend to leave mine a bit shorter. Now we just close our book, our journal, and just give it a little push down. I'll just show you what we've done. Now, what I like to do is go through my journal after I've stitched it in. Looks a little bit skew, but don't worry about that, because we're going to flatten this down. So that's going to be a little tuck spot in there. Now I'm going to, I've got this little gizmo here. It's a circle punch, but I'm going to carefully, hopefully you can see this, I'm just going to carefully put a little notch in there. Okay, and then that gives us our nice little tuck spot. So let's start from the beginning. Sorry, I'm spinning you around and around, aren't I? So that's our little tuck spot in there. So through each page, I just like to make sure that it's, I use my thumb at this stage. I don't use the bone folder straight away. And I'm just pressing. down. Now on this, because I had a bit of this paper left over, I didn't really want to waste it, and it has got a bit of a ragged edge, but I quite like that. And I folded it over because I thought it might be nice to attach another, maybe a concertina piece of paper in there that we can paint on. So that's something I thought we might do later on. And the same this side, or we'll just fold it down and just glue it there and there, and we've got a nice little tuck spot. Not sure, we can put some tags or whatever we want in there. But I quite liked having this as my centerpiece for my journal. And then there's that, so I'm just rubbing my finger. As you can see, it had holes in where it was in another book when it's in its original life. So just going through again, just going through. Okay, and then that's like the cover of our book, and then it just needs flattening out really. So there we have it. There's our final stage. We've stitched in our papers, and it's the final stage of our intuitive painting envelope journal. And now we'll have to fill it up with all our paintings and our projects that we're going to be doing. So I hope you get along and make your journal and fill it with the papers you like, all ready for our next stage of doing our intuitive journal. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.